Let's get this party started. Let's get this party started. What a great crowd here today. This is one of our favorite meetings of the year. We're the only touchdown club in America that does 15 straight weeks of meetings. Nobody else does it. Tallahassee doesn't do it. Dothan doesn't do it. Mobile doesn't do it. Nobody does. Little Rock, Arkansas is the only one that does it. That's why we're number one in America. Thank you very much. But great to have the Ken Hatfield Award, Sportsmanship Award today with some amazing young men and women up here on stage. Got a lot of family members in the audience. Got some great coaches. So glad to have all of you here. I always say this. I do enough MC work in addition to doing this. Is be in the moment today. We all have a lot of things going on, good and bad. You're Razorback fans, bad. Maybe. Unless you're ready for basketball season. Hey, let's enjoy today. Let's enjoy today. Let's appreciate people you're sitting next to. You know, let's appreciate the people we're with and enjoy today. Got some amazing young people and a Hall of Famer in Mack Brown, who's one of my favorite guys ever. Did all of you enjoy Madre Hill and Anthony Lucas last week? Man, it gets you fired up. We need more of those on the hill. Only one more meeting to go. It's the Mark May 15th meeting. It's so great to have Mark. He's been with us 2 or 3 times. Hall of Famer, one of the great guys. He's also been a big help to the Broyles Award. We appreciate him. The last meeting of the year. We hope you'll show up and be a part of that. Also here in a few minutes, we'll announce our finalists for the Willie Rofe, Dan Hampton, and Darren McFadden Award. Also, Debbie, are you happy with today? Yes, all the members, they give a round of applause for everybody who's giving the potluck. Food Rescue for Arkansas, the food drive. Well done. Next week, too. Of course, Debbie's son is involved with this. I called it potlatch last week. I was close. That's all right. Potluck. So thank you for doing that. Very nice of you that you can help out people in need. So we appreciate that. All right. What? Yeah, that's a great point. All the excess food that we don't use, we send to potluck to be able to give out to those who need. So that's really cool. Thanks to you for doing that. Yes. All right. So we've got, first of all, our pop-up thanks to Rockstar. Where's it? Where's it at? We usually don't have it up there. We don't have it up here. Maybe is Mack wearing? Is he in Texas gear on that? Is that why we didn't bring it up? We are playing Texas this week. This is Texas week. And so, Coach, you know that's always a sensitive topic. There we go. Let's bring it up. All right, somebody's going to get this. I know there's a few Texas fans. I see you down there. All right, Scott, here we go. The winner is, for the pop-up, 042337. 042337. Very nice. Congratulations. Very nice. You're the winner. There we go. And, Coach, look at that. Listen there. Les Gray in that picture right there. I'm just saying. You're welcome.
Great timing.
Great timing. I'm losing mine, too. I can't say a whole lot, so it's all good.
I had nothing to do with the picture.
Also, wanted to mention, too, Steve Qualls is here with Design Lab. If you want to get some cool Touchdown Club gear, go out there and scan what we have. Go on the Touchdown Club website. Sweatshirts, T-shirts, hats. He's really got some good stuff for us. We appreciate him. There's a QR code on our website. Also, we'll make it official today. I teased it last week. Terry Bradshaw. It's his last ever performance at Branson. So he said, listen, he's got Bradshaw bourbon. He's got Bradshaw cookbooks. He does this because he likes to sing and have fun. This will be the last one ever, December 19th. We're taking a bus or 2 buses to go up there on a Friday. We'll go up there, watch it, and come back. 1037 The Buzz is involved in it. Say something to Debbie. Email Debbie if you want to be a part of it. We're only taking 2 buses. We've got it reserved. We'll do a big group shot with Terry at the end. We may do individual shots, and we may work it out to where if you'd like to purchase a bourbon, a Bradshaw bourbon bottle and a book, a recipe cookbook, he might sign those. That's something else we're working on. So appreciate that. Look forward to doing that. All right, Pinnacle Church of Christ head minister Chuck Monan. Come on up, Chuck. I was saying, as I was driving back from Baton Rouge yesterday about 4 o'clock in the morning, I ran across a verse in the Bible. I think it was what did I say? 1 Thessalonians 5, 16, 17, 18. The great apostle Paul said, rejoice in everything. Now, again, it's in the dark. It's in the fog. I'm driving back at 4 o'clock in the morning from Baton Rouge after watching the Razorbacks lose in the most gut-wrenching way. Rejoice in everything. Pray without ceasing. And give thanks in everything. Right? Right? So my first thought was, could Paul do that if he was a Razorback fan today? That's all I'm asking. I don't know. We'll let Pigskin deal with that. Chuck, come out and lead us in a word of prayer.
David, that'll preach. That's pretty good, actually. It's appropriate that for the Sportsmanship Day that we have a legend of the sport in Mack Brown. Mack is a classy Southern gentleman from Cookeville, Tennessee. DNA is in the football is in the Brown DNA. Their family, outstanding coaches and players. I think I'd heard of your brother Watson before I'd heard of you, but I lived in Oklahoma for a long time, but we appreciate so much you being here with us today. Another great Tennessean, Grantland Rice, said, when the one great scorer comes to mark against your name, it will not be whether you won or lost, but how you played the game. We appreciate these kids today and the way that they play the game. Let's pray together. Father, we're thankful for this gathering. We're thankful for everyone who's here. We're thankful for these young players and their coaches. We're thankful for Coach Brown taking time out of his schedule to be here. Father, we pray blessings on all of these and their families. We're thankful for the sustenance, the food that you give us, and all the good things that we know come from you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate that. All right. Do want to thank all of our great sponsors. Remember, if you've got somebody that's not here, moms and dads and coaches, if you want to have somebody watch this, they can go to our YouTube, Twitter, Facebook page because of Arkansas PBS and what they're doing. You can follow it that way. You can listen to it on 103.7 The Buzz. So please mute your phone, though, if you don't mind doing that. But if somebody can't be here and they want to watch and see somebody recognized up here on stage, that gives you a chance to do it. Do want to thank our sponsors real quick. Because we're so constrained today, we don't have as much time to thank everybody, but do want to thank our sponsors, Simmons Bank, Richard Johnson, and Haskell Anderson up here at the head stage. Thank you guys for being the best presenting sponsor in America. Couldn't do it without you. Stevens, Curtis Jeffrey, Warren Simpson, Kevin Scanlon, and more. They are so good to support what we're doing. Thanks to Stevens. Crane Automotive, always here every week. Christian Crane, Chris Crane, thank you so much for your support of what we're doing here at the Touchdown Club. Wright, Lindsay, and Jennings. I see Judy here. Judy, great to have you, and thanks for being here every week. If folks need questions about NIL, you guys are the ones to go to in a world of craziness of NIL. Thank you so much. Oakland sports. I was 3-2 in the NFL yesterday, 3-4 in the college ranks. It's been really a tough year to pick them right, but I'm really appreciative to have the chance to do that for Oakland. Zach Gillum, Wayne Smith, Caleb McGee, the entire staff. Racing is coming up soon. Of course, that's where we have the Broyles Award too. Thank you to Oakland. Summerwood Sports, Dave and Doug Hendricks. I've got to get you two connected with Molly Harrell. That wherever Molly is, she's going to find you today, and y'all are going to connect because of y'all's great support for the Broyles Award. And so they do so much in the community. Nobody really knows how much you guys give back, and thank you so much to Summerwood Sports and the Hendricks family for what you do. Double B, Steve Lytle, and Ed Light, thank you to those guys. Sissy's Log Cabin, Bill and Sherry Jones, Roller Funeral Homes, Renata Jenkins Byler, Hatcher Agency, Greg and his entire family and all of his staff, and they bring so many people each week. Advantage Service Company, Kevin Brooks, Matt Bailey. I know Kevin's daughter Mila is here, and Mila's boyfriend's brother is being honored here today, Levi Yeager. So I know that I know where Mila is. Where's Mila at? Great to have you here, Mila. Yes, boyfriend's brother is up here today, and look forward to hearing about what Levi has accomplished as well. Simmons Bank Arena, by the way, this weekend, Riley Green, 10,000 people at Simmons Bank Arena for him this Saturday. Earth, Wind, and Fire. Rex used to really get down to Earth, Wind, and Fire back in the day when he was in college. They've been announced for May 10th. Appreciate them. Michael Marion back in the lost column from Mississippi State. Michael, I'm sorry. Welcome back to the club. There you go. You're still wearing your maroon, but nobody does it better than Michael and Jana at Simmons Bank Arena. Thank you to them. Pulaski County Farm Bureau, Todd Dennis, Stephen Reichert. Thank you so much, guys, for your support. War Memorial Stadium the same way. John and Mark and Kevin, Shay, thank you so much. Let's give all those sponsors a round of applause real quick if you don't mind. Arkansas Democrat-Gazette, Amanda Copley, great to see you here, Amanda, back with us. Our All-Arkansas Prep players not here today, but it's been a great year, and appreciate all y'all support. And Wally's been writing a ton of great stuff about the Touchdown Club. We appreciate that. 103.7 The Buzz, the most talented man in America radio, Roger Scott, is here today. Couldn't do it without my partner, Roger Scott. Our producer, Josh Neighbors, is here as well. So grateful to be working with these guys every day. AY Media, Heather Baker, thanks so much for supporting the Touchdown Club. You guys have been killing it this year. What a year we've had. Thank you. Arkansas PBS. There's not another PBS in America that's better than that group back there. They are the best in America, what they do. We couldn't do it without you. Thank you so much. They are outstanding. And then JF Media Marketing, Alicia Dover and Jeremy Flynn. You know, sometimes I get our speakers on stage, and sometimes they say things that go viral. I'm just saying. Or I do. Was that last week? No, it was. So I think, Coach, I think the last week probably had 200,000 or 300,000 views. I don't do that for that. But because of Jeremy and Alicia and what they do with their team, we're able to put out the good things that are said here today and share with them. So you're going to say impactful things that will be shared with millions of people across the country, even though we're in Little Rock, Arkansas. But thanks to J&F Media and Marketing, couldn't do it without them. The Doubletree Hotel, they're so amazing, their staff. Thank you to them. Sunbelt Convention Services, Tim Glasscock, Brad, Rick, and Joy Gonzalez with Rockstar Passes. And our new sponsors this year, can't do it without them. Midtown Plumbing, Haley and Jim Coleman and Kyle Jackson. Thank you, guys. Midtown Plumbing. Arkansas Surgical Hospital. Couldn't do it without them. What an amazing hospital they have, owned by doctors. They were great. Make sure you ask for them when your doctor wants to do surgery on you. And Arkansas Spine and Pain, 6 different cities in Arkansas. Those are our 3 new sponsors. And also Merritt Dyke, who was a great guy here in town that stepped up the last 2 years and said, I want to sponsor this today, where I want to pay for their plaques. I want to give all these kids a check. And it takes guys like Merritt and others. And let's give all of them a round of applause for all the sponsorships there. Of course, our Touchdown Club team, Dwayne Duncan, the best photographer in the nation, Chris Kane, RJ Hawk, Steve Sullivan, Steve Qualls, Davis Ford Setup, and our amazing volunteer team, who next week we're going to recognize every one of you individually, because we can't do it without y'all. I'm just telling you, we'd be a wreck without you guys, led by Debbie Wyman. Let's give them all a round of applause, too, all of our great volunteer staff. All right, you know, we work hard. We sort of got thrown off track by COVID, Coach. And some of our awards, the Darren McFadden Award, Willie Rofe Award, Dan Hampton Award, not the Cliff Harris, but all those guys are Arkansas guys. Those are all Arkansas guys. And so we love to be able to honor those guys and continue to recognize great football players here in Arkansas. And we're going to do that today with our finalists for all of those. And then, of course, in addition to our Ken Hatfield Outstanding Sportsmanship Award. Let's welcome, please, RJ Hawk, everybody.
Thank you, David. And as he said, our All-Arkansas Preps Player of the Week couldn't be here today, but I felt like we need to just say congratulations to him. It's John Crank from Subiaco Academy. Subiaco never gets any accomplishments or anything in the paper, but last week, 336 yards and 4 touchdowns as they won the Club State Championship for Subiaco Academy. So John Crank is our All-Arkansas Preps Player of the Week for the Touchdown Club. Okay. Let's go ahead and start with our Darren McFadden Award, and if you'll hit the music back there, guys, we will get this thing rolling. Our first player set a school record with 35 touchdowns and over 2,000 yards rushing this year from Greenbrier, Enoch Hassan. This player currently leads the state of Arkansas in rushing with 2,273 yards and 43 touchdowns from Hamburg, Nikel Lewis. And our third finalist for the Darren McFadden Award for the best high school running back in the state of Arkansas. He's from Mountain Home with over 1,900 yards rushing this year. His name is Barrett Miller, and these are your finalists for the Darren McFadden Award. Round of applause. For the Willie Rofe Award, presented by Simmons Bank, this 6'7", 325-pound offensive lineman currently holds more than 20 D1 offers and is currently committed to SMU from Bauxite, Evan Goodwin. This offensive lineman was one of the top protectors for the Mustangs this year from CAC, Jackson Allen. And our final finalist for the Willie Rofe Award is 6'4", 300 pounds, has multiple D1 offers, but he's pledged his commitment to the Razorbacks from Hot Springs Lakeside, Tucker Young. These are your finalists for the Willie Rofe Award. And the last award, the Dan Hampton Award, presented by the Michael Erie family. This defensive lineman has 7 sacks and 52 tackles this year. He currently holds 24 Division I offers from Cross County, Danny Beal. This 3-time state champion has 6 sacks, 17 tackles for loss to go along with 49 tackles. He currently holds 22 offers and is committed to Oklahoma from Bryant, Matthew Nelson. And finally, this 3-time 6A state champion currently has 47 tackles on the season, 6 sacks, and 14 tackles for loss. He's currently committed to Central Oklahoma from Greenwood, Cody Johnson. And those are your finalists for the Dan Hampton Award. Guys, we've got great athletes across the state. We've got great kids at different schools from across the state. Round of applause for all the student athletes in the state of Arkansas playing high school football this year.
All right, for a little abbreviated version of Rex Nelson, since Arkansas lost again and OBU lost, I imagine this won't be too long today for Rex. But you know what, Rex? We're going to keep believing that things are going to get better, aren't we?
Absolutely. We talked about that.
Nobody does recaps of every weekend's games like Rex Nelson. Please give it up for Rex Nelson, everybody.
Yeah, I'm going to talk real fast today because when it comes to the Hogs, same old story, just another chapter. I'm starting to feel like a scratched record up here as the young folks behind me, David, say, what's a scratched record? Realize by age that don't even have records around anymore. Arkansas falls to 2-8, 0-6 in the SEC. LSU moves to 6-4, 3-4 with that 23-22 victory. 8th consecutive loss. Here's what's maddening, though. 6 of those have been by 1 score, and it was the 4th time to lose after holding a double-digit lead at one point in the game. 4th LSU win in a row in the series, and unfortunately, since a young, handsome, and not that he's not anymore, but enthusiastic David Basil started the Golden Boot 30 years ago, it's LSU's 21st time to win it in those 30 years. Let's move on. But another weekend in which none of our D1 teams won. Southern Utah beats UCA 28-21. Bears are now 3-8 overall, 2-5 in the conference. Home team scored twice in the final 5:40 of the third quarter of that one to go ahead 28-21. UCA's final 4 drives ended with an interception, a punt, and 2 turnovers on downs. So a long season for the Bears continues. And Prairie View A&M beats UAPB 56-29. UAPB now 4-7 overall, 2-5 in the SWAC. Prairie View at 8-3 and 6-1 is the SWAC West Division champion. They do have a very good team. And the 98th Battle of the Ravine. David texted yesterday and made me count up. I believe that was my 55th Battle of the Ravine to attend, David, of the 98 through the years. It was all Reddies, 41-14 over Ouachita. 2 good teams. Henderson finishes 8-3. Ouachita finishes 7-4. So the Reddies walk home happy. Coach Brown, you may be familiar with this series. It's the only college football game in America where the visiting team walks back home. They're right across the street from each other. And more than 10,000 in attendance. It's got to be on your bucket list for the future if you've never been. 98 of them played. Here's how close this series is right now. Ouachita 47, Henderson 45, and 6 ties through the years. It's something special. Talk about something special, the Harding Bisons. They're 11-0 following a 47-13 victory over a good Arkansas Tech team that finishes 7-4. The Bisons, coach, they run that double slot option offense that nobody sees anymore, and nobody knows how to defend it. They ran for 569 yards against Tech. It was the fourth consecutive game for Harding to rush for more than 500 yards in the game. Andrew Miller had 203 yards on 24 carries. They begin the Division II playoffs at home in Searcy on Saturday afternoon against Northwest Missouri. That should be a really good game. SAU had a good season, 8-3, a 49-10 win over 2-9 UAM. Our Division III teams played each other for the second time this year. Hendricks finishes 6-4 following a 55-28 win over 2-7 Line at War Memorial Stadium. Real quickly in the SEC, man, Texas A&M, a 27-point halftime deficit, and they come back and win 31-30. That's the largest comeback in school history. Entering Saturday, I want you just to think about this. Teams were 0-286 in SEC play when trailing by 27 points or more. 0-286, a first in the history of the conference. A&M 10-0 for the first time since 1992. OU beats number 4 Alabama in Tuscaloosa 23-21. Sooners go to 8-2. That ended Alabama's 17-game home winning streak. Georgia takes out Texas 35-10. Georgia's now 9-1. Texas falls to 7-3. Gunnar Stockton threw for 4 touchdown passes, ran for another, and Georgia's looking like Georgia as we near the playoffs. Ole Miss 34, Florida 24. Rebels go to 10-1. Florida's 3-7. Florida has now lost, get this, 20 consecutive games away from Gainesville against ranked opponents. So you have A&M at 7-0, Georgia at 7-1, Ole Miss and Alabama at 6-1. Should be a really fun final 2 weeks in the SEC. Arkansas at Texas, of course, 2:30 kickoff. That's on ABC Saturday. Other conference games, you've got Missouri at Oklahoma. You've got Kentucky at Vanderbilt, Florida at Tennessee, and SEC still dominating the rankings. AP poll, A&M number 3, Georgia number 4, Ole Miss number 5, OU number 8, Alabama number 10, Vanderbilt number 12, Texas number 17, Tennessee number 20, and Missouri number 23. This week, Louisiana Lafayette plays at Arkansas State on Thursday night. So a game in Jonesboro. On Saturday, I mentioned Harding's at home for the playoffs and Abilene Christian is at UCA. So Jonesboro, Conway, and Searcy, you got 3 choices. Get out and see a college football game this week, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, Rex. Thanks, Rex. And you know, thank you, very well done. You know that Harding Academy, Paul Simmons, you know who he's good buddies with? Kevin Costner. So he's invited Kevin Costner to come to the game. Kevin Costner apparently came and duck hunted a few years ago and connected. Yeah, listen, they average 500 yards a game in rushing. Yeah, really, really amazing. Thank you, Rex. So just want to make sure, Chris, RJ, we good? Yeah, we're good. All right, so first of all, I want to do this before we introduce our honorees. This is always, we've been doing this for probably, I told Coach Brown, I think 13 years. We started this calling it the James Street Award because, you know, Bruce James said, hey, David, I can get James Street and Ted Coy and Bob McKay, those guys we hated from Texas in '69 that beat us, hated them. They were devils. And they came here to the Touchdown Club, didn't charge a penny. As a matter of fact, we want to give money back to the Touchdown Club because we love what you're doing. We go, wow. And so let's do a sportsmanship award. So we did that actually in honor of the great James Street, maybe the greatest quarterback along with Vince Young that you coached in Texas history. And we did that for about 10 years. And so about 3 years ago, we thought, you know, okay, let's make a transition. We'll come back to Arkansas. And so I'm so honored that we get to honor Ken Hatfield, my old coach, along with Lou Holtz. But Ken Hatfield, great guy as a player, as a coach, as a human being. And this is a chance for us to honor young men and women who are either players on the football team. These are all the Little Rock School football programs represented here today. And we allow the coaches to nominate one person that they feel represents sportsmanship in the highest level. And that could be a manager, it could be a great player, it could be a player who doesn't play at all. But we've done this now for 13 years. It's one of our favorite things of the year because these young men and women are so great at what they do. And you'll hear me read a little bit about them here in a second. But before Chris introduces each one of them, I want the parents, grandparents, not coaches right yet, but I want anybody who's a family member of any of our honorees, let's stand up and let's give them a round of applause for raising great young people. You know, we've had Jimmy Johnson and Lawrence Taylor and all these great players. Let me tell you, guys and ladies, I'm just as glad to be here with y'all today. I really am. Because at the end of the day, you'll be just as great as them in the game of life, and that's what it's all about. So without further ado, we're going to ask Chris Kane to introduce our honorees, the coach that nominated them, and the school that they're from. They're going to ask you to stand up, and I want each of you, everyone that stands up, let's give them a round of applause because they're worthy of it. Remain standing, and then we'll give you a big round of applause. And then I'm going to say a few things about each honoree. Won't be long, but I'm not going to say who, the information that I give, I won't tell you who it's about because I did not want years ago us to compare, well, this kid's better than this kid. Well, this kid's so much better. We just said we're going to honor all the kids here. We're going to honor, they're all winners. We're not going to give one winner. They're all winners. And wait till you hear the comments that the coaches have to say about these amazing young people. Chris, go ahead.
Our first honoree, please give it up from Little Rock Catholic, nominated by Coach Cochran, Hudson Havens. From Little Rock Central, nominated by Coach Anthony Robinson, please give a round of applause to Tatiana Hurd. A Little Rock Hall Warrior, please give it up for Zinn Kerrigan, nominated by Coach Chambers. Now please welcome from Little Rock Parkview, Jaden Merriweather. Next, nominated by Coach Chadwick Lewis from Little Rock Southwest, Matthew Ron Young. And from Joe T. Robinson, nominated by Coach Updergrove, give it up for Caleb Smith. Our next Ken Hatfield Award Outstanding nominee hails from Mills University, nominated by Coach Cortez Lee. Let's hear it for Darren Weston. Nominated by Coach Perkins from Baptist Prep. Let's hear it for Levi Yeager. Our next nominee is a Wildcat from Episcopal Collegiate, nominated by Coach Fortner. Let's hear it for Ford Gill. Coach Grimmett nominated this next honoree from Little Rock Christian. Please give it up for Christian Lewis. Coach Anthony Lucas nominated our next honoree this afternoon from Pulaski Academy. Let's hear it for Owen Duke. And finally, from the Arkansas School for the Deaf, nominated by Coach Robinson, let's give a big round of applause for Jakai Hunter. Ladies and gentlemen, those are your 2025 Ken Hatfield Award honorees. Please stand.
Just want to take a second. If we can, all the coaches that are here, whether you're the nominating coach or you're an assistant coach, if you're a coach here from the schools represented and these young men and women, please stand and let's give you a round of applause. Great to see my old teammate Anthony Chambers from Parkview. We played together back in Fayetteville back in the day. And Shaq Robinson from the School of the Deaf over here. Shaq was a player at Henderson State. You're a great young man. Great job, Shaq. Love that you're back coaching at the Arkansas School of the Deaf. Love that. So I'm going to take just a minute here before we bring up Coach Brown. And Coach, what's amazing, you were here for this event when it was the James Street Award probably 7-8 years ago, whatever it was in between Texas and North Carolina, your second time. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to read you real quickly some comments that the coaches made. I'm not going to say the names, not going to say the school. So maybe you can make the connection. But what's really encouraging is to hear what these coaches said about these honorees. Okay, here we go. Being able to nominate one of these young people is an honor and a privilege. Our honoree is courageous, tough, and outgoing, deserving in many ways. His personality, intelligence, and love for others creates a welcoming atmosphere. He follows no one and isn't swayed by popular demands or popularity. Each week he works hard on the field and in his community. His teachers applaud his behavior and infectious humor. His play on the field is fearless with a perfect mixture of sportsmanship. Next we have the type of player and person that you want on your team is our nominee. A great leader and great player, but a better young person. One simple way to describe him is there's no job too small or too low for him. If something needs to be done, he puts his team before self to accomplish our common goal. He's the type of kid you never have to worry about. Next, first and foremost, we are appreciative of the opportunity to recognize one of our athletes with this award each year. It means a lot to the kids who receive it. It's the way our nominee carries himself off the field that earns my respect. This is the coach speaking. Constantly engaging, I love this, with our middle school and elementary school students. He can be found encouraging our 7th grade team from the sidelines on a Thursday night or throwing a Frisbee around with the 6th graders at recess. Always there to pick someone up when they're feeling down. He'll go out of his way to talk to anyone about anything. I speak for our entire school community when I say he will be sorely missed in 2026. After moving up at the end of this is another athlete. After moving up at the end of the year, he tore his ACL and had to have surgery. Toward the end of his sophomore season, he tore the other ACL in his other knee. I told him it might be time to hang it up. He put in the work. He returned his junior year with little playing time, but was one of our key leaders during the offseason, quietly encouraging and helping to coach the younger players. One of the most resilient young men I've coached or been around. He is the epitome of never quit. So what's interesting is I read these, I think most of the honorees on stage know probably who I'm talking about. But I love the fact that you don't know. We just appreciating them as a collective group. Here's one of the best young men that I've ever had the pleasure of meeting and coaching. Every single day that I've known him, he's worked extremely hard to do everything the correct way. Never complains about working hard, does whatever is asked of him to do. One of the unquestioned leaders of our team, both because of his actions and his voice. Though the season did not go as planned because of injury, he did not deter him or keep him from being our leader. He's the voice and pulse of our team, and through all of this, never had less than a 3.5 GPA on his report card in his 4-year career. So there you go. This next nominee has been a part, or honoree, has been a part of the football program since his Pee Wee days. He's everything that makes high school football special. He may not be an attention-getting superstar, but he's worked hard to become a key member and starter on our championship football team. And in the era of quitting or transferring, he just put his head down and worked hard to become a starter and all-state caliber football player his senior year. He excels off the field as well as in the classroom and hallways. Has made a lasting impact for underclassmen that are below him. Our next honoree, he embodies everything our program stands for. He's dependable, selfless, always willing to do whatever the team needs, no matter how big or small the task, whether it's showing up early, staying late, or helping a younger player learn the ropes, consistently put others before himself. This award is perfect to honor him. His attitude and commitment have made a lasting impression on this team. He's a leader by example, steady, humble, and driven by doing things the right way. We're proud to recognize him for his selfless devotion and positive impact he's had on our family, the football family, and that's powerful. Next, exemplified outstanding dedication, leadership, and compassion in her role as a senior high school football manager. Tireless work behind the scenes, organizing equipment, coordinating team logistics, supporting players and coaches alike, has made her an indispensable part of the program's success. Her positive attitude and commitment to excellence embody the true spirit of teamwork and service. Our next honoree exemplifies all the characteristics of hard work, as well as keeping a positive attitude in the midst of adversity. He's the captain on our team, and he leads by example. He's also a great example of how a young man should conduct himself into being a leader and positive role model. Last few here. Our next honoree, outstanding athlete and even better person. He's patient, focused, and hardworking. Both a leader and a teammate, communicates well and sets a great example for everyone around him, has strong ethics, and always puts his education before sports. Confident, never afraid to speak up for himself or for others. He plays on offense, defense, and special teams, showing his dedication and work ethic in every role. Our last two, this young man tore his ACL his junior year and was really hurt because he'd worked so hard, but fought back, never complained, had a great spirit, and loved the way he treats his teammates on and off the field. When the locker room is dirty, he's always the first to clean and the last person to make sure that it's clean before everyone leaves. He's a National Merit semifinalist, holds a 4.6 GPA, which I didn't even know you could have. I didn't know you could have that. I certainly didn't know that. And a 35 on the ACT. Is exemplified every quality this award represents: resilience, integrity, work ethic, and character both on and off the field. And last but not least, a kind young man, exceptional teammate, consistently respectful to coaches, staff, officials, and opponents, often the biggest person on the field, yet he remains one of the most humble and considerate. His teammates love him. He arrives each day with a smile, always greets others, and is a friend to all. His dedication, work ethic, and perseverance have been remarkable, and he continues to set an example of putting others first. So, is that not amazing? Let's give a round of applause to all of our honorees. So all you family members, well done out there, your mom and dad and grandmoms and uncles and aunts, and all you coaches. Listen, I don't care about how many yards you had. I really don't. I don't care about how many touchdowns you scored. Let me read that stuff about you. Let me read that stuff about you. That's the, when you come looking for a job, that's what I want to read. That's what I want to read. So well done. You'll also be receiving a check because of our kind gift by Merritt Dyke. $200 to every honoree. You don't have to give that to your parents. If you want to keep it, go spend it on whatever you want to. If you got a girlfriend or boyfriend, watch out. It's yours, not theirs. Be careful. But thank you so much for raising your kids in the right way, and all you coaches. We can't do it without you. It's something I'm so honored that Coach Hatfield is being honored. You couldn't find a better human being. I played for Lou Holtz and Ken Hatfield, two of the greatest coaches in the history of Arkansas football. But let me tell you, that guy right there, man, he is rock solid as a human being, and did everything the right way. I'm just saying Lou Holtz didn't, but that guy right there, I'm so honored that we're being able to honor him each year. He's 82 years old. He's the only guy that's won a national championship as a player, came back and won conference championships as a coach. And just more than that, he's a better person. So, Coach Hatfield, glad to honor you today. Merritt, thanks again. And congratulations to all you great honorees. It's so cool to have a Hall of Famer up here with us. So this guy right here won a national championship in college football at the highest level. One of the greatest games ever played, USC versus Texas in the Rose Bowl. Vince Young outdueled Reggie Bush. He's been a Broyles Award voter. He's going to be back as a Broyles Award voter. He's got an amazing story, and I can't wait to be able to talk to him today about football as it used to be back in the day and as it is today. Let's take a look at what Steve Sullivan had to say about Mack Brown.
He's going for the corner. He's got it.
This national championship win over USC in 2005, completing a perfect 13-0 season, was the highlight of Mack Brown's spectacular 13-year run in Austin. His Longhorns won 9 or more games every season from 1998 to 2009. His overall record at Texas, 158-48, including 98-33 in league play. His time at Texas was sandwiched between 2 stops at North Carolina. Mack's first stint at Carolina started with 2 of the worst seasons in Tar Heel history, back-to-back 1 in 10 years. He left for Texas after leading the Tar Heels to 2 straight 10-win seasons and top 10 rankings in both years. Fast forward to 2009, and Mack Brown returns to Chapel Hill.
We want to win now, and that's very, very important to us. So
His 6-year stay included 44 wins, 5 bowl appearances, and plenty of dancing. Please welcome a Hall of Fame coach and one heck of a dancer, Mack Brown.
Coach, whoa, holy cow.
Be careful.
Yeah, no, listen.
Could I explain the dancing first?
Yes, please do. Go ahead.
Because it's rather embarrassing. So we get to Chapel Hill the second time. They won 2 games the year before. They won 3 games the year before that. So 5 games in 2 years. The staff and the team just aren't getting it, I didn't think. So we're in the summer, and I said, okay, we've got to start telling life stories. So everybody got up and told about their family, their parents, the good things, their bad things. One young guy had been in foster home for 7 years. We didn't know that. So you coach them differently when you know exactly who they are. Well, that got really dark. It was tough. And we're hearing all these bad things, so I had this great idea. We're going to have a dance contest every day. So as soon as we tell our story, we're going to have a dance contest. 3 guys would get up and dance, and the players would rate them. And we'd pick a winner every day. So I'm the last one to tell my story. So I get up, I tell the story, and I said, okay, let's head on out to practice. They said, no, you got to dance. I said, I'm Church of Christ, I don't dance. They said, I don't care what you are. You said everybody was going to dance, and if you're going to tell us the truth, you're going to dance. So being quick, I said, we're opening up with South Carolina. I knew we weren't any good. I said, okay, I'll make you a deal. You beat South Carolina, and I'll dance in that locker room after the game, man, knowing there was no chance we could win that game. So we win the game 24-20. I'm walking off the field. My wife comes up and says, you know you got to dance. I said, oh, that was 3 weeks ago. They've forgotten that. I walk into the locker room at 67 years old with a knee replacement, no music, and ESPN cameras, and you got 45, 50 kids in there going, dance, dance, dance. So I thought I did pretty good for that. As soon as it was over, I'm walking out of the locker room, and my wife said, oh my gosh, how embarrassing was that? So.
Oh my goodness. Well, Coach, you were here. I got you in here between after you stepped down from, or you finished with your time at Texas before you went back to North Carolina. So you were here for this award before, but just want to, first of all, let's address these young men and ladies here. Your thoughts on what you heard about them today and about their future. They're listening to you right now. What message would you give them?
Well, you folks are our future leaders. And thank you to the parents for raising them right, and the grandparents, and thank you for the coaches for what you do. Because we're in society now where things are kind of mean, and we're not taking care of each other, and we don't have great examples in a lot of cases like we used to. And you all are more important than ever before because you are the leadership moving forward. So thank you for what you've done. David was right. Obviously, what you accomplish is important, but more importantly is how you do it. And you all have done it right. So thank you for being here. Ken Hatfield's a great friend of mine. He's a wonderful human being. So for your name to be recognized with his is really, really cool.
Yeah, and also, too, yeah. So I don't know if you'd be willing to tell the story. It's a great story. Is that, because I started the Broyles Award 30 years ago, Darryl Royal was on the selection committee. So I got a chance to know Darryl and Bo Schembechler and, Vince Dooley and all the great coaches. And so I loved him. He's a great guy. But you had an interesting story about Coach Royal and Ken Hatfield you'd like to share.
Yeah, Coach Royal started forgetting some, and it got tougher as we'd be around him. So I would take him to high school clinics, and he would say, don't let a high school coach walk up without you telling me his name. And he said, all you have to do is say his name. So David would walk up, and I'd say, David, and Coach would say, David. No clue who he was. So Coach Hatfield is at Rice. He's the head coach. He's walking up, and I said, Coach, this is Ken Hatfield. He's the head coach at Rice. He said, hell, he returned a punt against me at Arkansas and won the game. I know his damn name. I said, thanks a lot, Coach. Don't chew me out for doing what I'm supposed to do.
And two reasons I had Coach here today. One, because Arkansas plays Texas this week. And the other is because I thought you would be great to have here with these great young people being honored today and their parents and coaches. And, a lot of great history between Texas and Arkansas. And you just mentioned Coach Hatfield. That was a national championship game. And you had a chance. You were 2-2 against Arkansas when you coached at Texas. And really, if you remember, one of them was a game at Austin that Matt Jones just couldn't stop him. He had a great game.
I remember.
The other was Cotton Bowl that Arkansas. You guys remember the Cotton Bowl when we beat Texas? That was a glorious day. And so Houston Nutt is a good friend of the club.
So why did you mention the two losses? I guess we are in Little Rock, so that's why you did.
So great story. So Houston called me this week, and we've had Houston up here quite a bit. We love Houston. And remember, what did Houston do after we beat Texas in the Cotton Bowl? Everybody remembers this. So Houston told me, he said, David, he said, Mack Brown was not happy with me. And so he had told me that that you guys, I think you were on a military tour with coaches going out to support the military. And you said something to him. You would remind us of that?
Yeah, we actually, 7 of us went for 10 days on the front lines. We went to Afghanistan, Iraq, and it was really wonderful just to support our troops. So we were around each other a whole lot. So I told Houston one time, I said, you know what? I understand the fans going horns down, but what a classless act for a coach on the sideline to sit there and do that, Houston. There's no place for that. That's not good sportsmanship. And I love Houston Nutt. I don't like him. And of course he said, I was just cutting up. And I said, no, you weren't. You weren't at all. And then we come back and have the 22-20 game here, and darn if he doesn't do it again on the sideline. So he had a short memory.
Yeah, he said
he just hates Texas.
Yeah, he told me. He said, I told him, David. He said, as a coach, you grew up in Arkansas. It doesn't matter what you just do this. It just comes out. But great that you shared that with us. Now, for those who follow your career, you just left North Carolina, your second time there. Things have changed from you go back in the 70s and 60s when you played and coached and all that. So did you feel this is a different era of football? As crazy as it is, you told me a few minutes ago that you still might be willing to get back into coaching. So talk about how football is today, what you left in North Carolina, as compared to where it was back in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, I was raised by Coach Broyles and Coach Royal and Coach Schembeckler and Coach Holtz and Coach Bowden and Coach Paterno. And I was so lucky to be around those wonderful men, many who are in heaven now and have to be rolling over in their grave looking at what's happening. But I started playing football in the 4th grade. That's all I've ever done is coached or played. My grandfather was the winningest high school football coach in Middle Tennessee history. My dad was a coach. He lost all the games. They made him the principal. So he didn't do as well. Or maybe he did better. He got out of it. But you do what you do. I was playing golf with Phil Mickelson once, and it just came out. He said, I don't know if I'll play on the senior tour or not. And I said, you do what you do. You're a golfer. So coach is coach. So I asked Dick Vermeil when I left Texas, what should I tell people when they ask me if I want to coach again? He said, I've stayed out 17 years. I came back and won a Super Bowl. So don't ever tell anybody you're not going to coach again, because you'll look like a liar if you ever decide to. Now, I'm having fun. I got grandkids. I'm speaking a lot. I'm traveling. I watch every football game that's on because I have to. My wife said the other night, I think that one of the Mack games was on at Central Michigan, maybe in Western Michigan. She said, the mothers aren't even watching this game. And you're sitting here watching the game. But I love college football. And I love the coaches that coach it. I love the fans that are passionate about it. And I love the players that play it. And when we sit and say, oh, these guys don't care anymore, there's a lot of guys that really do care. They didn't ask for the money. We gave it to them. They want discipline and regulation and rules. We didn't give it to them. Right now, NFL's got more guidelines than college football. And we got to get a lot of smart people in a room and figure it out. It's not fair to you, the fans. It's not fair to the kids. Everybody says, well, they're getting all this money. Well, some are, some aren't. And I don't know that that's healthy right now, just to give them all that money. And then we've got gambling that's going on while we're giving them money. We've got their heroes that are saying, man, if you'll put 500 in, you can get 5,000. And then we're yelling at them for gambling. I mean, we've got a lot of things that need to fix. We decided to give money and let agents get involved and then let the transfer portal happen anytime they want to. If you transfer once, you got a 63% chance to graduate because your courses do not transfer in. Transfer 2 or 3 times, you're not going to graduate. You're not going to have the community like David does after you get through. You're not going to have the friends that you played with for 4 years. We say it's a 40-year decision, not 4, because it's a lifetime. It's not that way right now in some places, and it makes it really difficult. And I'm worried that the guys in their 4th transfer portal will not be able to graduate. They won't be able to get jobs. They've got no community support, and then we're going to start having mental health issues. And that's where I'm concerned.
You had 2 runs at North Carolina, and at Texas. Obviously, had a great run in Texas. Were you surprised that, at UNC? I know some people say, "Well, Coach Brown is too old to coach," and then you turn around and they bring in Bill Belichick. That had to go. Wait a minute, if that's for those of you complaining, and Nick Saban's out of the game. Do you think people underestimate how difficult it is? I think people think they're just going to roll in here, whether it be Bill Belichick or whoever else, think this thing, I got this thing figured out, but it's a lot more nasty than maybe even the NFL is. It's like you said, because there are no guardrails right now.
Yeah, I don't think you're ever too old as long as you've got energy, because the experience is wonderful. You can't pay that for somebody else. Now, if you don't have the energy and you're tired, it doesn't work. But I don't talk about retirement. I'm rewired. I got more to do, man. I got some stuff I want to get accomplished still, and you start reinventing yourself, and you start looking at a new chapter of your life, and that's what we do. Tired sounds old to me. Sounds like you want to lay around and sleep all day, and I don't want to do that. I can't sleep anyway. But I do think that we're firing coaches faster than ever because the competitive balance is leaving us because of the amount of money that some schools have compared to others. We saw a 3-loss team last year in Clemson get the playoff. If Texas gets in this year, they would be a 3-loss team because they've got to beat Arkansas, and then they've got to beat A&M, and then somebody's got to put them in, and I wouldn't want to be on that committee trying to figure out who gets in. But we're going to see a 4-loss team in the future be in the playoffs. And we're seeing 9 teams play within the league now in the schedule. So we're going to quit playing the group of 5 teams so you can get 4 of those wins to go to a bowl more easily. So we're going to see more losses like the NFL. And people are going to they're just going to have to understand that. We've got to look hard at buyouts. I mean, we're paying people $70 million to get fired. Paying them $50 million. That doesn't work. That's not sustainable. That's not fair. I thought I was really stupid.
What do you think? I brought that up to Greg Sankey. What is the solution? Do the ADs just have to say no?
Yeah, I always thought I didn't want money for getting fired. I think that was really stupid. You should take a lot of money if you get fired, I guess. That's it. No, I think that if losing should be part of the cause. I mean, when we take these jobs, we're expected to win. And if you don't win a certain number of games, then there's going to be a change. Well, that you should be partly responsible for those losses.
Why is that, Coach? What has happened the last? You got the Jimmy Sextons and the Trace Armstrongs that they have all the power now. I mean, you see it. It just keeps happening over and over. When is it? What is it going to take for that to change?
Well, the pool's small of those that can win. So it's easy to fire, it's hard to hire. And now we're firing faster than ever before. And the school that have these coaches that are winning at their own place, they're giving them extensions because they're talking to them every day. It's like dating. They're living with that school while you're trying to date them, and it ain't working, brother. So I want to we're not letting you leave. We're going to, what do you want? 15 million? We'll give you 15 million because that's cheaper than what we can go find somebody else. And we don't know whether they're going to win. So right now the pool is so small of those coaches that you really want that you better be careful when you get rid of yours that you know what you're doing to get somebody better. Or you keep changing coaches again in 3 more years. And that's the problem. But we've got agents involved with players. We got agents involved with coaches. Agents are making a killing right now. They got a better job than anybody else.
You mentioned before the meeting about just you don't think it's sustainable. You look at Texas Tech. I mean, so reported that defensive line was $7 million about the defensive line. And look what they are, number 7 in the nation right now. So do you like that from a standpoint of that's what it comes down to? Find the donor, find the booster that can cut a check and raise 20 million, 50 million, 70 million, 100 million. I mean, is that where we're headed until somebody changes something?
Well, it is. And I don't like it because, again, you lose competitive balance for those that have the billion-dollar guys that are going to jump in and pay their money. And those people don't want it to change. But if you look, Texas Tech's not a brand name, but they're right now a top 10 team. Vanderbilt's not a brand name. They're back competitive in the top 10, 15 teams. Indiana's not a brand name, but now they can win. So what we've done with the money, we've allowed a non-brand team with money to have a better chance to compete. But you've still got to do a great job in that locker room. You've still got to have discipline. You've still got to have team chemistry. You've still got to do a great job coaching. And those 3 coaches at Texas Tech and at Vanderbilt and at Indiana are doing a tremendous job coaching, but they've got better players than they've had in the past because they're able to pay them to get them to come.
What about, obviously, the Arkansas job is open. This is the 6th coaching search that we've had in 20 years. Is Arkansas a good job?
I think, again, it depends on the commitment. Most of the jobs, and I don't know enough about it to comment. That would be really wrong of me because I haven't looked at the numbers. And most of the jobs that are out there, the expectations are higher than the commitment. And that's really difficult. And people don't want to hear it because it sounds like, ooh, that's not fun. But to compete anymore, you're going to have to put a whole lot of money into it or you shouldn't expect your coach to win. And that's it. It's just people are buying players. And you got to figure out, number 1, do you have the money? And number 2, do you commit it? And then what do you do to the Olympic sports? What happens to all the other sports when all the money goes to football? And then to men's basketball. And then what happens to gymnastics or what happens to track and what happens to golf and baseball and because there's not enough money to go around. And that's the problem we've got right now. Most athletics departments are in financial trouble anyway, and then we ask them to give us $20 more million for revenue sharing. So we're not being fair to the president or the athletics director either because we're asking them to give us more money. And if you're, my wife, who's smarter than I am, she did something that you all should do. She said, when you go to a school, go back 20 years and see what their average record is per year. Because that's who they are. When I went back to North Carolina, they had averaged 5.7 wins for 20 years. She said, you want to win 9, 10, sure, but this is what you are. So you go back 20 years and look at what you are. Why are those 6 coaches fired? Did we hire the wrong one? Did we not give them enough support? Why? Why'd they get fired? Because Coach Bowden taught me if you keep doing the same things that are wrong, you're going to keep getting the same results that are bad. And that's just facts.
Well, you mentioned Indiana, Vanderbilt. They're not blue bloods, and they're top 15 teams now. I mean, and Cignetti was not even a superstar coach. So somehow they were able to break the code there and make it work. So there is hope out there. What about the old days we had player development? What about the old days? Can you find some players that maybe don't need $500,000 out of high school and develop players? Can you do that anymore?
Yeah, I still think you can. It's harder because people have less patience in our society. People are wanting to win faster. And we're not really looking at why do you win and why do you lose. If you look at Arkansas's team, we talked about they've lost 4 games by less than a score. That's pretty impressive for a bunch of kids with an interim coach. And they've got agents telling them you better look around. They've got assistant coaches that are saying, I need to look around. What's Coach Petrino thinking if he doesn't get to stay? If he does stay, do the assistants get to stay? I mean, you talk about you talk about your culture, you talk about your confidence. Those late games are won in the fourth quarter with confidence and togetherness. And it's hard to have that when everybody's all over the place. So I'm impressed by what Bobby's done and these kids because they've played so hard. They haven't finished, but they haven't quit. They haven't laid down and said, I'm tired of this, it's not working. And they could have, because they got a lot of stuff thrown on them that they didn't ask for.
Can we just enjoy for a few minutes the good old days? Go back when you said Matt Jones came to Austin, you couldn't stop him.
That wasn't a good old day for me. I remember that big sucker went 60 yards, and we stood there and watched him, and I've said, God, he's fast to be so big.
Yeah, that was a shocker for those who remember. I mean, they rolled into Austin, and I don't think anybody saw that coming.
Yeah, you keep bringing that up.
And then, of course, the Cotton Bowl with Clint Sterner, Anthony Lucas. It's amazing that story of what Houston did with those players that had not won with Danny Ford. Goes to show you what, with the right motivation, you had talent there, and just to push the right buttons.
Yeah, it's got to be a fit. And that's what you asked me about coaching again. I would know where I was a fit, and I wouldn't go somewhere where I didn't fit because it's not going to work. So you got to find the right fit, and then you got to be all in. And everybody's got to support. You can't. It always got me that if you hire a coach and you say, well, I don't like him, it doesn't matter. You're already married, man. And you got him for a while, so you better like him. That's just part of the deal. Or when you want one fired, gripe to somebody who can fire him. Don't gripe to the public on social media. That hurts your recruiting. It hurts the kids. It hurts the coaches. Don't boo them at the game. I hated to see James Franklin booed with his family out on the field. These coaches are human beings. They've got lives. They're killing themselves to try to help your team. If it's not working, don't boo them. Go tell somebody with money to fire them and change. But don't do it publicly. That's not. We don't need a public hanging every time some coach doesn't do well, because they're good people.
I love you talking about some of the history. You're a Hall of Fame coach, and of course, you're at North Carolina. Our good friend Lawrence Taylor at the Touchdown Club. You've brought Lawrence back a few times, and that's always an adventure. He saw the tape. We love Lawrence. But I love the fact that I love what you always bring. You were mentioning Coach Broyles. You're throwing out all these names, Bobby Bowden. You told the story about Coach Broyles said about how many games you had to mentally be prepared for.
Yes, I was the offensive coordinator at Oklahoma. So I think it was 84. And Coach Broyles was doing ABC at that time, and he and Coach Switzer were buddies. So I always tried to get a Coach Broyles or a Coach Snell or a Coach Schembeckler that were doing TV to take me to dinner before the game because I wanted to pick their brain. So I'm sitting there with Coach Broyles Thursday night before our opening ball game, and he says to me, and I'm adore these older coaches, so I enjoyed talking to Molly today. I loved Coach Broyles. So I'm sitting there, and Coach Broyles said, what kind of team you're going to have? I said, I don't know. I mean, how do you know, Coach, till you play? He said, it's really simple. Unless you have players that are better than 7 teams you play, you're not going to have a good year because you're only going to get them to play great about 4 times. And the rest of the time, you better be good enough to beat them when you're not playing your best. And that stuck with me, and it probably ruined my life because every spring I'd start saying, how many teams are we better than on our schedule? But that's how brilliant he was. He just got it. And he was so honest and so direct, and that was such a joy.
Yeah, I was going to say, you've had the chance to be around some of the greatest of all time. And you're Hall of Famer too. Besides Coach Broyles, is there 1 or 2 coaches that you look back and go, man, he was something special in the way he did things, in his mental approach, and in the way he handled his kids? Yeah,
I love Coach Bowden, and we were in the same league, and he beat my brains in. I said I put you in the Hall of Fame, but he was such a gentleman, such a good man. I love Coach Royal. He became like an older brother to me. I love Coach Hatfield because we coached against him when he was at Clemson and Rice. And then you got Bo Schembechler, and I love Coach Paterno. Coach was so good to me, and it didn't end well. And I'm still not sure with some of the stuff. Media would call me, and I'd ask Coach, help me with what I'm supposed to say, because everybody knows we're close. But Coach Broyles, those guys just got it. Coach Holtz. I would call them, and they'd call me back in 15 minutes to give me an answer. And it was interesting. I asked Coach Bowden once. I said, we'd lost a couple of times to Oklahoma, and I said, what do you do to flip a rival game? He said, when you're good enough and you're tired of hearing it, you'll beat them. These older guys just took complicated things and made them very simple. And that was so fun for me.
Yeah, think about that. You were the offensive coordinator under Barry Switzer. Yeah, and he was an Arkansan, very unique, different kind of coach. Everybody has a different style. We were talking about Bobby Dodd and Frank Broyles and Barry Switzer and Mack Brown. Everybody has their own style that works a certain way.
Coach Switzer's different. I can tell a lot of the stories. There's some that probably we couldn't, but how about this story? And this was Coach Switzer and at his best. We're number 1 in the country at Oklahoma. We're going to play Kansas, and they're awful. And we're about the 7th game of the year. Danny Bradley's our starting quarterback. He's out. Mike Clopton was our backup quarterback. He'd had an academic issue that popped up. So we had to play this freshman that hadn't played any named Troy Aikman. And Troy, he hadn't practiced. He just redshirted. So Troy says, Coach, I'm worried about throwing an interception. I said, Kansas is bad. Don't worry about it. It won't come down to that. We're good. We go to Kansas. It's pouring the rain. There's an hour and 45-minute delay. And I mean, there's nobody there. We come back out to play. There's probably moms and a few dads. But there's nobody in those stands. So we're down 10-7 at halftime, and they are awful. They're not bad. So the young offensive coordinator walks in. You're the offensive team. You're sitting there. And I said, that's awful. I took a chair, and if you take a metal chair against metal lockers and you throw it, and it goes around the room, it can get really loud. So I threw it, and I said, you guys stink. I can't believe you're going to lose the game. You're not ready to play. You're not tough. We got a freshman quarterback, and you're not even helping him. I don't even want to watch it. I'm sick of watching you. If you don't get better, you're going to lose the game. I slammed the door and walked out. We got beat 44-10. So I'm on the plane going home. Young offensive coordinator, there's a seat next to me. You should never let that happen after you play that bad. Coach Switzer comes over and sits down next to me on the plane. And I said, look, Coach, I'm sorry. God, this was awful. I'm embarrassed. It was a horrible day offensively. They're awful, and we just played so bad. And he said, well, and this is Coach Switzer. This is why he was so successful. You know what? You lose your first quarterback, it's hard to win. Lose 2 quarterbacks, you're probably not going to win. Then you got to play a freshman. So we knew it was going to be a hard game. But he said, let me tell you something. Those kids love you, and they really respect you, and they're going to listen to you. And what you did, you convinced them you were going to lose the game. I felt about this big. And he said, when they're down, man, you pick them up. You pick them up. You don't beat them down because you convinced them they were going to lose. So 10 years later, we're playing Oklahoma State in Austin. We're down 35-14 at halftime. I'm walking off the field, and I feel Coach Switzer on my shoulder saying, hey, man, it's bad. It's bad. Pick them up. When they're down, pick them up. So I walk in the locker room with the coaches, and I said, hey, what a first half, man. Oklahoma State's so lucky. We're playing hard, but we're not playing good. But this is going to be the best comeback in the history of Texas football. How fun is this? It's going to be so cool. And they're all looking at me like he has absolutely lost it. I said, so go in there and convince the players how we're going to win. So I go in, I put 42-35 on the grease board, and I said, this is going to be the best night ever for us. We beat them 56-35. Just absolutely killed them. And after the game, I walked in and apologized to the team, said, I'm sorry, I underestimated you, but my mom was tough. It was my grandfather, the coach's daughter, and I had to call her after every game. It was a night game, so I did the team, the media, Longhorn Network at that time. Then I called Mother, and I said, Mom, what about that halftime speech, huh? What about that? She said, if you'd have had a better damn pregame speech, you wouldn't have had to have the halftime speech. Facts, Mom.
Last thing, Arkansas plays Texas this Saturday in Austin. You know, it's pretty amazing what Coach Broyles did. You know, Arkansas didn't have the resources, didn't have the recruits, but he somehow changed the future and the direction of the program, and we were at times, you know, able to compete with Texas. What do you see happening this weekend? Obviously, it's a tough situation for Arkansas. Texas trying to find its way. What do you think happens this weekend?
I think it's an interesting game because Arkansas has been in every game with a chance to win. So there's obviously not the confidence to finish that they've got. The game for Texas is between Georgia and A&M. Texas got embarrassed in the fourth quarter. So they're going to get beaten up all week. They're going to be cussed all week, so I think they will be ready to play. If they'd have beaten Georgia, they probably wouldn't have. They'd have been more full of themselves. And they have to beat Arkansas to stay alive for the playoff. So, and that stadium, they've done a good job now with the fans and all of that. I think they're like 23-1 there the last 24 games. So I would think Texas would be ready to play because they have to. And then you add the fact that it's Arkansas, which adds that flavor of history and tradition, which people my age sure understand with what they do. But Bobby will have them ready to play. Those kids will be excited about going to Austin to play, and they just left Baton Rouge to go to Austin. So, I mean, that hadn't been the easiest route either. And I think we're also going to have to look at scheduling in the future. Your schedule can make a difference in your season. So I don't know who's making those schedules, but it's hard to go to Baton Rouge and to Austin back to back. That's hard to do, so we look at it. But I think it'll be a great game. I'm looking forward to it. But again, both are kind of desperate. So it'll be two that have a lot of reason to play.
Well, I think it's pretty clear to see why this guy is a Hall of Fame coach. Let's give it up for Mack Brown, everybody. Great job, Mack. Thank you so much. Well done.